2D motion graphics, you might think that most of the magic happens within the animation programs itself.
Yeah, obviously.
But let me tell you, using some 2D softwares in your animation workflow can actually make your animation process much smoother and also elevate it to the new level. And while there are tons of graphic softwares out there, let me start with two that you all are familiar with: Procreate and Adobe Illustrator. So let's look at some ways that I use these softwares in my animation workflow. So the first step is sketching out rough ideas for a project. I start by creating some shapes, forms and ideas to get a rough idea of the objects moving around the animation. Now this process in Procreate helps me evaluate if the idea is even worth pursuing, and also helps my client to get a rough idea of what the animation will look like in the end before even the process begins. Because once you move on to the animation part, it will be a much complicated process to have any further changes. Don't worry guys, you don't have to be perfect at sketching for making these. Now once the storyboard is done, we move on to the next step of creating graphics, for which I use Adobe Illustrator. Here I take my storyboard as a reference and use various shapes, tools, color palettes and even play with gradients to make these graphics for my animation. Did you like this video? Then follow for more amazing motion design tips and tricks.